Thanks for staying with Newsnight. Our shoppers across the country are hoping to make the most of their Black Friday. This is before the deals are done and dusted with. Now they've been stocking up on everything from toilet paper to television sets. eNCA's Malungelo Booi is out at Sandton City for us, and he joins us now. Malungelo, good evening. The one thing I've noticed is that a lot of the specials seem to be, continuing, starting from today right up until Sunday. Is that easing up the traffic at all, or people just wanting to make sure that by the time they get there, they still find what they need?
Well, there's a gentleman that I spoke to earlier, Kathy, who had actually went inside one of the shops, and he came out saying that it was too packed, but then said that he knows that the specials will be around until, the weekend, so he's going to come back and try his luck. But the question is, when he comes back, will the specials be still available? That's a million-dollar question. But one of the things, though, Kathy, that we need to explore, when we arrived here, we've seen people queuing at bank ATMs withdrawing cash, and those that are queuing at tills paying, they're also using bank cards. We need to look into the risks, really, that people need to look out for when they're doing all these transactions. To help us understand what are the risks associated with that is Kailani Pillay. She's the CEO of Sabric. Madam, thanks for your time. As I've said, we've seen people queuing at bank ATMs withdrawing cash because they want to pay for these deals. Let's look at the risks, really, that people need to look out for when they're standing in those queues withdrawing that cash.
Sure. I think it's really important, especially at this time with this mall being so busy at the moment. People really need to be mindful of a number of things. And I think that when you're at an ATM, the things that you need to look out for is the fact that criminals will actually use this opportunity. They'll use the fact that the mall is so busy, that people are in a hurry to get to the stores to actually get those bargains and those specials, and they're in such a hurry to draw money from an ATM that they actually don't realize that if the ATM, the card doesn't want to go in, it could very well be that the perpetrators will actually put something in so that they could come over to offer you assistance, and in that process we find that the criminals could actually swap your card, they could get access to your PIN number. Alternatively, they could have put a high-tech skimming device into an ATM, and when your card goes in, it actually is going to be copying the data on the mag strip, and they come quite close by to you because people are queuing up and there's such long queues, everybody's in a hurry, and they're quite close by to each other. Shoulder surfing could actually happen, and that means people can get access to your PIN number, and if it's a criminal, that's what they actually do want. So we're saying to bank customers, please just be vigilant, try and stay a little calm during this time with all that's going on. Protect yourself, always cover the keypad of the ATM, cover the keypad of the point of sale device even when you're paying in store, because everybody's in a hurry, so you tend to forget that. You don't want to put yourself at risk, rather take all of the precautions and don't just be in a hurry to get out of there. You may be tired of standing on a queue for such a long time, but please don't compromise your security in any way, because criminals are also, they actually out for the bargains that they're going to get today, and you're going to be at the end of what they're going to receive is the fact that you lax at any time, and they'll jump in and take those opportunities.
In fact, the last point that you're making, when people are paying, using their cards, what are the risks there? What is it that I must look out for? Must I continue to hide my PIN number?
All the time, not just for Black Friday, but all the time. We're coming up to festive season. We're saying to people all the time, everyone's going to be busy. There's so much of shopping happening all over. Cover your keypad at all time, whether you're in the country, whether you're out of the country during the holidays as well. Don't ever forget that. Also be mindful of the fact that you should always make sure that you get your card back when you're paying, not that you're not getting some other card, and just be on the lookout for any anybody taking down the details. Nobody should ever take down the 3 digits from the back of your card. No one should take down your expiry date. They don't need that bit of information when you're actually paying with at a point of sale device. So just be careful about all of that. Criminals have people, their runners all over the place, and they could be colluding with people who are already working in stores and restaurants, and with all the busyness, you may not notice that people may even have a handheld skimming device in their hand. So make sure that your eye follows that card at all times. If you have to hand the card over to the shop assistant or to whoever's seeing to you, make sure the card is always in your sight, but where you can, actually ask to put the card into the point of sale device yourself. The person doesn't need to do it yourself. Put your PIN number in, cover the keypad, and at least you know that card's not got into anybody else's possession.
So we know that people are using their cards also for online. In fact, the numbers by Bank Save Africa show that people are also shopping online using their cards. What are the risks there?
Well, that's very important because, with the online shopping, and especially at this time with Black Friday, people know that genuinely there will be great offers and great bargains. So the criminals, again, will use this very opportunity to advertise these massive sales, but people will go on and click and do the transaction, not realizing they're not on a safe site. So the things to look out for is in the URL, you need to look out for HTTPS. The S must be there to tell you that you are on a secure site. Another thing you need to do is take your cursor and hover it over the URL to see whether the name of that website changes. If it changes, you are on a spoofed website, a false website, which is under the control of the criminals. Don't put your card details into a site that's not secure. Also look out for the closed lock sign that's on the top of that web page as well. That will tell you that you're on a secure site. But we're really encouraging all bank customers, all consumers, to register for 3D Secure on your you can go into your bank's website and you can do it. It's another level of authentication that MasterCard and Visa actually offer shoppers to secure their payments further, so that you get you've been requested for a one-time PIN, and that is another level of security. So, people need to remember that they must be very vigilant, not just for Black Friday, but also coming up to festive season and all the time, really. It's really about knowing that, unfortunately, while banks will always do what they can to protect their systems, they know that they have to also carry some of the risks associated that come with organized crime. But you and I, as individuals, as consumers, we also, unfortunately, have to take the responsibility to manage risk as well. And that's why SABRIC, on behalf of the South African banks that are members of SABRIC, we create this awareness and empower people about the different scams. But, unfortunately, time is always an issue. So we encourage everybody to follow us on Facebook, SABRIC ZA, or go to our website, get all the advice, know the latest modus operandi and all the tips to protect yourself.
Kailani Pillay, thank you so much for your time, man. I appreciate it. All right. That's a sound advice, really, Kathy, from SABRIC CEO, that we've got to make sure that we are cautious and make sure that we hide our PIN codes at all times when we're making these transactions, because while we are taking an advantage of these bargains, criminals are also really out there waiting for one mistake that as consumers we make so that they can pounce. It's back to you in Hyde Park.
All right, Malungelo, certainly some fantastic advice there coming out of SABRIC, and it certainly brings an element of sobriety to a day like today, where there's so much euphoria around the sales, and brings it back home that we have to be just extra careful now into the rest of the year. Of course, careful all the time, but especially now, as we heard there. And the SABRIC website is also available for any of those extra mechanisms that you can put in place to secure yourself. So certainly worth looking into. It's a great investment that. Well,